India and the European Union share strong relationship. There is a visit of European parliamentarians to India. They have met with Indian ministers. With me is MP Løkkegaard, who is the chair of the delegation who takes care of relationship with India. So, welcome to WION. And my question to you is about the visit here in India, in Delhi. The focus here has been meeting with the ministers. If you can talk about, give an overview about the India visit.
Well, I think it's been extremely interesting and very timely. We have pushed for these meetings for several months. I was here in Delhi for the first time in January, representing the delegation. And I said that it would be very, very nice for us in this very important times to have interparliamentary relations again. You know, I don't know if you know this, but for 6 or 7 years it has been on a pause. And we really needed to re-establish the contacts. So it's a great fortunate, and I'm very fortunate that we have the chance now to visit India again. And we were here actually 2 delegations, both us from the relations with India, but also the Security and Defense Committee. So we were actually 2 groupings. A lot of people, very good meetings with the ministers, with the Minister for Foreign Affairs and with the Minister for Commerce and with the Parliament as well. We had the interparliamentary meeting yesterday, discussed various issues of great importance. I think this is a time for India and Europe to unite, to have a lot more cooperation, because we live in geopolitically speaking, we live in uncertain times. Things are changing very rapidly all over the globe. And in these times, big democracies have to work together, and this has basically been the reason for our meetings.
Big democracies need to work together. How do you see the relationship between India and European Union going forward? This year was significant. We saw the 2 TTCs meeting, one in Brussels, then virtually. So how do you see things progressing between the 2 sides?
Fortunately, very rapidly moving forward. This is no secret that for many years we had been, as I said, in a kind of frozen condition, a kind of pause. But since 2021, the relations due to Minister Modi has been developing very fast and still developing. Of course, we still have a long way to go, but the good news is that both parties really want this. I see there's a strategic interest for both parties to have this ever closer relations. As I said, democracies have to work together, and by doing that, we are really, doing some good right now. Of course, still lots of things to do, but we are moving in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. Moving in the right direction, one thing that needs to really be fast-tracked is perhaps the FTA. How do you see the conversation on FTA taking forward? Do you see any timeline for conclusion? What has been the progress, and what's your view, if you can talk about?
It's really very robust talks, I would say. We had a meeting with the Minister for Commerce last night, and he's a very outspoken person, and I'm very fond of that. I think it's very good to have these robust conversations about what's at stake. Again, both parties need this FTA agreement. We need it for growth, but also for cooperation as such in times of geopolitical tensions. So I think there's a need for doing something. It's very difficult. It's complicated stuff because we are moving from very opposite positions. In Europe, we have a tradition for huge packages when we're doing FTAs. We have a lot of them already. So we kind of introduced a way of dealing with these things, which is not very familiar to the Indians. I mean, as the minister said it yesterday, we are usually always negotiating trade alone, not any other issues. Coming from Europe, we are also very interested in introducing TSD chapters on climate, chapters about working conditions for workers and so on and so forth, to be part of the deal. This is ought to be very difficult. So we need some political movement now. I think that the negotiators, the technical sides have used all forces they can use, and now we need political decisions to be made on both sides.
Mm-hmm. political decisions from the both sides. If you can just elaborate on that.
Yeah, I think that both sides need to understand that coming from very opposite positions, we need to do steps that we haven't done before. I would say this would take a paradigm shift in the way that we do negotiations and trade deals as Europe. And this is, of course, not an easy step. So it's up to our leaders in Europe now to decide how much we can give into this. And on the Indian side, you need to get out of your comfort zone also when it comes to trade. You are a big nation, you are a developing nation, you're doing things very fast at the moment. Maybe also too fast for the mental thinking, the mental behavior, because what is needed is, of course, to get out of this comfort zone and to realize that you have to do a lot more on tariffs, you have to open your markets much more, you have to get used to the idea of more comprehensive packages, as I was suggesting. Otherwise, it will be difficult.
Mm-hmm. Let's move to another direction, that is the defense and security partnership. How do you see the relationship between the two sides, India and European Union, working together, convergences, and perhaps if there are certain divergences as well?
Yes, one area I would emphasize is the digital area. I mean, the very good news is that you passed a law on the Indian side about the digital, about data. We did the same. The European Parliament, as the first parliament in the world, just agreed on an AI law, which tried to find the balance between innovation, making things happening for the businesses, and the protection of citizens and our data. And the good news is, of course, that the Indian side has done the same thing. And now we have very intensively discussed during these 2 days where we can find common ground with these two pieces of legislation. And this could also be an icebreaker when it comes to the FTA, I think. And that's a very good sign.
Talking about the security and defense aspect, to the Indo-Pacific region, how both sides are working together. There's increased aggressiveness by China. What do you have to say about that as well?
We are, of course, also very worried about this aggressive actions, and I think we can do a lot together with India in rebalancing the issues here in the Indo-Pacific. Of course, this is also of much concern of the Americans. They are doing a lot at the moment. Whenever you visit Washington, it's on everyone's mind, the Indo-Pacific and the relationship with China. I think that we need to recalibrate the positions, the strategic work in the Asian area as such, and in the Indo-Pacific. And in order to do that, we need to cooperate even better, also on cybersecurity, on security and defense as such. And then the good news is also, of course, that we have our Security and Defense Committee visiting various ministers these 2 days, and with very good results, very good positive atmosphere. I think we can do a lot there.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for speaking to WION on a range of subjects, whether it's the FTA or whether it's defense and security cooperation. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, Jim.
With video journalist Sidhant Sibal for WION in New Delhi.